Okay, I'm going to start with another CC playthrough, and this one's Checola something G&BC CC. Not sold on the second part of the name. And this is by Ariel Atom, who has done some LiDAR stuff in the past. One set of teas, I guess, is just to be prescriptive. I mean, it's 9,000. He's got a second version, I assume, so that's where the other teas come in. Now I'll just check the thread quickly, just to see if there's anything that I need to be aware of. So, is this the... Oh no, that's the work in progress thread. Helpful. This is a great viewing. 1 second. Checola. Right. Recommended wind direction would be west or southwest. Well, let's give it a go with that then. We'll go with default winds, but I like someone specifying... Let's go southwest. I like someone specifying what winds we have. Okay. Cool. And my first rounds have always been on pin 2. I think the other one will be pin 3, and we'll go from there. So yeah, this is going to be usual disclaimer. This is, in this case, not, I don't think, the first time I think I've seen this played on stream, but this is certainly the first time that I've played it, and you'll get all of my thoughts pretty immediately with that. There'll be some stuff you agree with, some stuff you disagree with. That's all fine. My job, really, as I see it, is to give you as much as I possibly can. You've kind of got an hour of my time to pick out all the things I like and things I might tweak. And yeah, please do get in contact. But really, yeah, it's nice to see the courses as well. Okay. So first off, I think the bunker shapes are really good. And these bunker shapes, I'm well aware, are very difficult. Okay, pin shortish. Oh, we've got a 12-mile-an-hour wind. Lovely. What are we looking at graphics-wise? We'll see if we can go to ultra, just because it's a nice, pretty-looking course. I like the look. I do feel... No, I do really like the look. I wonder whether you could have blown these trees up a little bit bigger and made... it looks a touch patchy in here, but that's a big nitpick. Clear delineation between playable and non-playable surfaces, which is nice. Probably look to give yourself... I mean, that little bit of grass sticking into the heavy rough is minor, but I think we're cutting it a little bit too close with heavy rough. That said, this all looks really nice. Our bunkers are sculpted very well, because these bunkers are tricky to sculpt. Okay. I think... don't think it matters where I play. Maybe to other pins? I guess maybe to a back right pin I want to be challenging that bunker. Probably like a... Well, it's the first hole. I mean, if this sort of repeats, then... Yeah, and we kind of all funnel into the middle, so it's a very forgiving first tee shot, which I guess as a first tee shot is no problem whatsoever. I think sculpting could be a little bit neater here, dropping this bit of land down, but I think a large part of that is because we've just got this dip in the middle of the fairway. And yeah, and that mound there is obscuring us a little bit. I don't think it's intentional. Just, you've done the reason I mention it is because you've done such good work with this bunker. I'd love to be able to see it. Or even raise the green up a little bit. That might not get there. No. kind of preying on a fast there. But yeah, very much I would say a gentle opener. I do like this slope as a way of kind of feeding. I think everything about this first hole says gentle, which means really should be making a birdie. Oh well. But then I guess that probably plays differently in different winds. Okay, hole 2. But a really nice start. Pretty similar look to the first, which is good in terms of consistency. All for that. I really, in terms of things I really like, I was about to say, planting up this side. Actually, the view from the tee is stunning. You've done this really well. I've got nothing to nitpick. I really like the way the planting comes in here and here. The way the grass is kind of mounded up here. I think it could use a little bit of colour. Like a different whiter grass, or the speckly one, or a couple of global plants, something just as little accents would lift it. Kind of feel like I've got the same issue as the first tee shot. It doesn't matter where I hit it. It's a 3-shot par 5 probably most days. So, and I get for this pin I want to be probably around about here and pitching up, but it's not an option today. Even though we're down 30, I'm not carrying it with that wind. Yeah, no chance. If I'm being really honest, these bunkers look lovely, but none of them are in play. This one I like in that it allows that. These two aren't in play. These two definitely aren't in play. This one isn't. I mean, maybe on downwind. I think you've nailed the bunkers for aesthetics, but I do think they could have been placed better. I like this for a 3rd shot in though. That will do. So we're now in the 2nd round, so clearly this course has gone through the 1st round really nicely. This is more what I was looking for. So this is a stunning look. I kind of feel like the dunes have come out of nowhere, but I'm going to check that. Oh no, I'm completely wrong, they were here. I'll be really frank, I don't think you need the dunes. I almost fit it. Or you go dunes everywhere rather than waste like barranca planting. I don't know, I feel like there's a bit of conflict here in terms of we've got 2 really good ideas, both done really well. I just feel like I've leapt into a little bit of a different course on this hole. And all of it's good. I do want to stress that this hole is done really nicely. And the bunker work over here is great. don't think I've got... And I think the other thing I'd say with this hole is this has got a wow factor that neither of the first two holes really had for me. The first two were just a little ploddy. This one's a stunner. Yeah, it's not a good tee shot. Oh wow. So there's some interesting slopes on that green. I mean, yeah, just not a good tee shot. Okay. I want to play a chip, so I'm going to play a chip. It was probably the right call, but an awful shot. No, I like this hole, and I like the way you've been pretty subtle with the slopes. That's probably your easiest pin, even though it looks like it's tucked behind a bunker. That's probably toughest one, but this one's no picnic either. Oof. There? Not good on this green speed. Oh. Wow, that's a really slopey pin. Tough pin. That's fine. The first two holes were kind of gimme birdies, so I'm okay with that. So I saw one of your inspirations was Passer, and I've played this, or seen this played once already, and I couldn't help notice there's a couple of lifts that I think are a little too close, this being one of them. As in, I get that it's a reference to Passer, but I don't think it really needs it, and I don't know. This kind of jars with what we've done before. I could be completely wrong, but it feels like we're basing it on Passer, and we've seen some bunkering that's very Passer-esque. This is like the one. Is it? It's on the back nine. I want to say 10. Maybe I'm probably wrong. But we've seen that, and we've thought we must incorporate it somewhere on a hole. And I mean, in this wind, it's adding something, I guess. But actually, if I hit that close, I'm probably leaving a pitch anyway, so laying further back is... Also, did we mean to make the tee shot blind? I mean, at least there's no hazards, if it were. So I guess the blindness works. Again, it's another element of I don't think the tee shots mattered. Like, if I'm hitting it over here, I'm ending up down here. If I'm hitting it over here, I'm ending down here, pretty much. Unless I'm really hugging the extremities, which... And I get it's CC, but you want the tee shots to matter a bit. I feel on the non-par 3 holes, they haven't mattered at all, really, where I've put them. Well, there's a swing. That's a we've switched graphics up too high swing. Well, this will be an interesting shot. We have got no hope. Absolutely no shot. Oh. Oh. Oh, that was good. It's a lucky number. Right, so, having... I almost feel like this hole would have benefited from having a long... In fact, I 100% feel that this hole would have benefited from having a longer approach. Because you have angled the green really nicely, you have given us hazards, and I can see that there's a better angle if I were to approach it from over here. The thing is, with a wedge in hand, I don't think that matters. Like, there's no reason to risk going all the way up here and into the heavy rough when you've just got a flip wedge into kind of an area with a backstop anyway. What am I doing? Game settings, camera. There we go. Anyway, let's see if we can complete a miracle up and down. And we can. Happy days. So I like that we've gone out to the ocean a couple of times without hitting it. That's fun. So now we bring this barranca in. Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess the barranca's OB, yeah. 500-yard par 4 I'm all for because, yeah, it's long and it's downhill. That's fine. I mean, this tee shot's a bit better, but I don't... Again, I'm still not sure it matters all that much. Because if I'm hitting here, I'm rolling down to here and I'm not being punished with angle. And so... I mean, I guess I can either hit dead here or I can hit here, and I'm probably not... I mean, given the severity of the slope, I'm not stopping on a side slope most likely. Maybe we do. But again, I just don't think it's worth... That's an awful swing. I guess I think most of my plays end up here. God, this wind is not friendly. Oh, a little too much. I liked that approach shot. That was nice. And the green's good. I don't think you need the bunker there. I'd rather have seen the barranca come in if we're going to go all in on the barranca. But I can see why you... Yeah, I can see why you didn't. In fact, I'm okay on that. Oh. Gave it a go. Well, we're playing terribly. The wind isn't easy, but... Yeah, I think you've done and I do appreciate that you have introduced pretty much all the things really early. So we've seen the ocean, we've seen the dunes, we've seen the barranca, we've seen the kind of raggedy style planting elsewhere. I just feel there's too many elements and one of them could go. Probably the barranca. Because I like this dune area. Am I going to be saying that the hazards aren't in play again? I feel like those two bunkers on the right aren't in play and the one on the left doesn't matter enough. So, yeah. I guess here's my question. Also with this one, I'm not sure, even with this wind, I'm not sure I'm carrying this. And we're uphill. So, that's a roll into it hazard, but why would I not just play out here all the time? God, my tempos and swing path is awful. Yeah. We've had a number of fairways now bowling in. I think that's, I want to say, well, we've had, yeah, 4 of the 5 I think have bowled in, and the other one being the barranca hole. I do think it kills your sightline as well. We can't see the bunkers as well. We can't see this because we're dropping down to here, and I don't really understand it. Go a little. Do you like the greens have been really good. The little half spines have been cool and given me ways to be a little less precise with my approaches, which for someone like me is great. The awful part. Oh, this is a par 5. Not sure I love this as a par 5. I get that it's uphill, but I don't think that's... Oh, I don't know. I don't love having a 7-iron into a par 5. although I guess into the wind that plays very differently. Par 5 followed by potentially drivable par 4. I think I'm finding what the thing I'm finding with this course really is just I like it. It's all nicely done. It's too wide and the hazards I don't really think are in play, which and I like even playing that shot. I love that you've done the routing well. I love that we've got two greens in the background of this one. I think we could have made a bit more of that. I've only noticed those on a tiny bit of the flyover, but that's a me thing. I love highlighting that sort of stuff. I don't know. I just feel I should be challenged off the tee much more than I have been. This is a very Dylan par 3, which I mean as a compliment. It's nice. It's very much his style. I think your 2 par 3s have been your standout holes by a mile. I mean, there's not much to say really. The work you've done is all really good. Planting is like the environment is great. I do think I kind of prefer it without the dunes, or with the dunes, but no, I do think I like the dunes. It's just we've done so many different things that. And there's one too many big ideas on this course for me. I like the clubhouse work in the background, and the fact that we're playing back up to it is good. I mean, I kind of had the same critique, really. I think the hazards are there visually. They're for playability-wise. I don't really think they are. I mean, this one may be purely because of the wind. But even then, I think if I just down loft. Oh no, that was a terrible decision. I thought it was going to go a lot further than that. Still, 94. Yeah, probably. This bunker isn't quite as good as the others have been. I'd probably be dropping that bit down a little. Same with this one. It's kind of fallen down a touch, but we're getting nitpicky. The technical stuff on this course is really good. I think it's more hazard placement. I just don't really think I've had to think off the tee, which is a real shame. Or rather, if there is a preferred side off the tee, this is good. Your par 3s have been really nice. They're in. I guess that leads me on to another thing that I'm probably noticing a touch. Green sights wise, your par 3s have had great green sights. This is another one where I think it's a little close to a passer rip. This is the 6th, I think, with the green. Not sure we need to wind fairway around this bunker, but I can see why you have. I don't mind it. I kind of feel like the par 3s have had really interesting green sites that feel very natural. The other holes haven't felt as natural. And I know a lot of planning went into this course. I wonder whether you've overdone it. Finally we get a swing. And that was always going to be tough. That's okay. Because the technical side of this is really good. Nope. And I know it's ridiculous to say when I'm only 2 under, but I think a lot of that is to do with the wind. Kind of feel a bit on autopilot playing it, and I'm enjoying it. I want to stress that because the environment is beautiful, and you've done a lot of really good work. But here's another case in point: like the tee shot just does not matter, at least as far as I can tell. Yeah, and so okay, we have high and we have low, but with that pin, yeah, maybe we're coming over a slight slope, but if you bail a little bit out, it doesn't. Big width and angles is not that easy to do. We'll try to hug the high side. Yeah, we've got the. This is the one that's definitely another kind of straight from passer. I don't know. I'm all for nods and things like that. I just think it's a little too close. Like if I can recognise the exact hole and go, oh, this is that hole. I think we've done it's possibly a bit much. You're way short. I am awful at judging wind. If we hadn't pushed the putt, it might have been okay. Just noticed another good thing you've done. I like the way you've neatly blended fairway in with the bunkers, because that's not easy to do. And like all of these are done really nicely. Again, it kind of feels like we've seen an idea from Passer and we're pushing to put that somewhere, rather than seeing what the land has given you and going with that. Whereas I think with your par 3s, and this one feels a bit more natural. I think it helps that it has a narrower fairway. Okay, I like this because this is the first. I feel like this is the first choice I've had on a par 5 or par 4 that matters. With this wind, probably going long. I think might as well go for it. Oh, with a slow backswing. Not too bad. Presume that's going to come out hotter than... yeah. Struggle to judge those things. So, okay, what were my options if I were playing to different pins? I'd probably only go for it on this one. Otherwise, we're trying to lay up here-ish. Back pins, we're probably laying up in here. And, don't see the need for that bunker, if I'm honest. Maybe this is one where it shows more with different plays. I think the art of a really good drivable par 4 is to give me lots of choices to kind of subtly give me lots of options to confuse me and not make the drive an automatic. You've definitely done the second part. The drive wasn't an auto, but if I'm not driving, I'm laying up there every day, or playing short for a flop or a pitch. And I get maybe people might want to play to a wedge for wedge, but I think it's pretty rare. I would have liked to see you make more of the angles and maybe give me a reason to lay up close to this bunker. it's a really good hole. Okay, another par 5. I like that we're now coming back towards the ocean. I think you've used the ocean really well without going towards it too much. I think we've seen it on 3 and that's been about it so far. Yep, this one's, I want to say 14 at Passer, par 5 with that in front. And yeah, I don't know. I think you do that sort of thing once, and I'm fine with it. But we've had a few too many. Hmm. 252 down 50. I'd like this hole to be a bit longer, because if it were a longer hole, then I think this bunker comes to play in the way that you really want it to. Where I'm thinking, do I want to go here? Do I want to maybe lay up out here? But even into a 12-mile-an-hour headwind, I guess for pro club guys, I think they're still hitting 2-wood over it. Maybe pro, and we're blind again, which is unfortunate. I don't really understand why we are. We've got this kind of hogs back in the fairway, which is out of play, I think. Maybe not downwind. I don't know. I don't believe you need to see everything. But if it's a set piece you put a ton of time into creating, or a green site that's this good. Oh, I'm so lost with elevations. I'm just going to hit 2-wood. And it was the correct decision, just needed to be better. But I think because of the length of the hole, nobody's ever really... That bunker's kind of like the big one on Augusta 10, where it's never really in play. I do love that I've got the option to play chip shots. I know they're not as accurate as flops, but they're way more fun. And I like this whole design. Yeah, I feel it's my. I'm sorry, I'm saying the same thing over and over again. I wish the hazards were more in play, because they're really pretty, and they do enhance the whole looks wise. But in terms of playing, I mean, I've missed one fairway where I hit into a bunker trying to be too cute or something. This is a good looking par 3. I don't know. I think it's the way the designer does these, but... Or how you've buried... I'm not sure you need to bury this many trees. It looks really stark from the little bit of... It's the little bit of heavy rough around them that's throwing me. Looks good up here. I think maybe if we transitioned... How you've done it on this side works better, with the placed heavy rough. I like that a lot. And it's clear you have spent a lot of time on this, and there's a lot of stuff that works really nicely. Oh, we're slow. That's new. Oh well, we were getting nowhere near it. Again, really cool par 3 green site. I think if you can take what you've got with your par 3 green sites and apply them to just about every, like the par 4s and par 5s, that would... I mean, I guess that's how we do par 3s, isn't it? Though we find the best green sites and go from there. But, and there's a... I guess there's a bit of feedback in there, in that your par 3 green sites have been really good. The rest of the green sites have been not at that level, really. Which is understandable. Like, your par 3s have really stood out. and that's the last one, and I will remember every single one of them, which is hard to do, in fairness. Okay, another long par 4, and we are now heading down to the ocean, so you've kind of teased us with the ocean, and then we get it on the last 3-4 holes, and hopefully we get some blockbusters. I think I'm going to have a similar comment about the tee shot. In fact, I definitely do. Yeah. Maybe wind in too. Oh, goodness. Do I dare going long? No. We take our medicine and we end up short. I have to say, I think this is one of the prettiest courses in the contest. Let's just give it a whack. So that's got to travel. Still think I would have liked to see some colour. I really like that we've now got a beach, but yeah, I don't know. Again, I that feels logical in that you've got the dunes. I like that. There's a nice little view. Same here. Okay, and we're moving away from the ocean as quickly as we came to it. That's a bit of a shame. Yeah, seeing it again, I'm really not sure. I just don't think you needed this. And I know that's going to be painful to hear because I'm sure you spent a hell of a long time planting it. But I don't really feel the Barranca has actually added that much. It's not. I mean, it's kind of in play off this tee shot as a hazard, but I think you're going to have to be an idiot to hit it in there. I guess it's in play here. No, we'll wait and reserve judgment until 17. I love this tee shot and the way I'm hitting kind of semi-blind over the dune edge. But when you've got the whole of all of this and we can't really see it, it just feels like the wrong time. Like, you've teased the ocean for so long. Lower the planting here. Let us actually see the ocean. So you've done it so nicely with the par 3s overlooking the ocean and using it as a backdrop. Has been really good. And I'm not saying bank the hole right up against it so that the ocean is the hazard, because you don't need to do that. But it would be lovely to see all of that more. Or like, let's have a hole looking back towards that beautiful par 3 third, I want to say. Again, kind of remind us of your real highlight. Oh, I'm hoping I can bound this in. I really need to be further left off the tee. And I'll also say this is possibly your best designed hole. I know I wish it had come at a different point in the round, but I love that here, hitting this high side because of where you've bunkered it and where you've cut the pin, this really matters, being on which side of the fairway. That said, we can probably still end up, yeah, just short left. If I'd had a better angle, I can work it in. I mean, I think all of the ideas are there. Yeah, a little bit timid. Okay, 2 to come. Par 4, short par 4, stroke in next 3. I guess you got a lot of people hitting into the barranca then. I mean, 15-mile-an-hour wind, it's definitely not going to be an issue. Although that pin makes me wonder whether it's worthwhile. This is what I wish you'd done a bit more of on that other short 4. Right. Because actually I do want to be coming in from over here. I guess I would definitely be using this fairway at points for a back left pin if wind isn't allowing me to get here. I guess it depends how far 226. Maybe not. And even then, I wouldn't necessarily want you to have designed to stop that, because I think you get very artificial. I don't think you need to do that. I think it's just I wonder whether you considered it. This is going to go too far, I think. Oh, very fast. Thank you. 'This front bunker's not one of your better ones. I like the way the barranca bleeds into this one though. Just in terms of the planting. Okay, hole 18 stroke next 1. Huh. .142 up. Oh, that might need to go a bit. That's okay. Hey, we finished with a birdie. So, I don't really have a huge amount of comments on the 18th because the comments were kind of similar to the other holes. Oh, I already have played this. I've favourited it. Excellent. Okay, I'm just going to pull up kind of the judging criteria in the background. I won't give you overall scores, but I'll kind of talk you through different things. Playability and shot values. I think for me this is the area where the course was the most lacking, because it looks stunning, but the fairways were so wide and the hazards were placed on the sides of them at points where I don't really think they were in play a lot of the time, or if they were in play, just hitting down the middle of the fairway wasn't a punishment. And the fairways were, if the fairways are 60 yards wide and you can hit down the middle of the fairway with impunity, it kind of just leads to a bit of a dull round off the tee. I think it's tricky. If you're going to adhere to real world principles in TGC, you have to take a few liberties with making it play interestingly. Most of that is either making the greens very aggressive with some of your slopes and in order to make the angles work, or it's going with more central hazards, because hitting the middle of fairways is pretty trivial for the most part. And I mean, I don't think I've played well there at all. And one bogey on the par 3, yeah, kind of attest to that. I think your par 3s were your best holes, and they were nicely spaced out. They were nicely distanced. I thought the greens were well done. I kind of found them a little repetitive with the tiers, or that's unfair. I think they were well done and they fit into a cohesive theme. There were a couple of spines that came in beyond that. There aren't that many greens that stuck out to me for the slopes or how I had to play them, if that makes sense. Technical execution is excellent. There's a couple of bunkers that I think weren't perfect, but other than that, I've got nothing on technical execution other than the sight lines on a few holes. I think that's the one thing I'd say is something I definitely want to see. And I guess the fairway sculpting on the holes where it bowls in is one as well. Just because we can vary that a bit more and give us sideways stances, or yeah. Again, when the middle of the fairway is the easy play and it doesn't punish you, but then you're also making that middle of the fairway effectively even larger by having both sides of the fairway bowl in, then it takes out a huge amount of possible challenge off the tee. I think the approaches were good. The approaches were challenging and the greens were nice, but the tee shots was really where this fell down for me. Technical execution, planting was excellent. Sculpting was generally really good. Yeah, I didn't go looking for things, but nothing cropped up really other than those few sight lines. Aesthetics and environment, I've mentioned that I think one of the elements probably should have gone. It's all nice, and playing through all 18, I think the one that I would say I'd have liked you to made more of the dunes and lose the barranca, and I think the reason for that is the dunes can allow you to have some more interesting green sites, which would have helped you with your par 4s and 5s, i.e. can you bank one behind a dune, or just jutting out from one, or at the base of one and have a punch bowley style green, or in between a couple. And I think you also some of your best tee shots were where we were hitting slightly semi-blind over a dune, what have you. I think that was the part of the course that worked the best. Actually, the bits that imitated Pasatiempo were the bits that didn't work quite as well for me, and I think, in part, you've been a bit too faithful to Pasa in parts, where the bunkering is near identical in places where a green shape is kind of the same, or whereas I think when you didn't do that, where it feels like you didn't do that as much, say 3 or am I saying 8? No, 10. Those two par 3s where you had really natural green sites. I don't think they did that as much. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think when it feels like there are certain holes where you had specific ideas coming into it and you've forced them a touch. Whereas when you've let the land do its thing a little bit, or seen a hole and not moved so much land, perhaps. I mean, it's hard to tell without having seen you build it, but I guess when this felt natural, it worked really nicely. But there were a lot of holes where it felt like it kind of had a very clear plan of this is how the hole is going to be before we'd seen the land, and I don't know. It's really hard to put that into words. But I hope that kind of makes sense to you, maybe. But do get in contact either way. Routing, flow, cohesion, variety of holes. Routing was really good. You hit the ocean really nicely in a number of different ways. I wish you'd made more of it on 16, because in fact we only had 2 holes that were ocean side, 3 and 16, and I was desperately wanting more. And 17 then moved away from it. I don't get me wrong, I appreciate the restraint. I think when you've teased it as much as you did, I'd have loved to have seen one more hole on the ocean at least. Maybe back end of the front 9, or give us 16 and 17, 15 and 16, and then move us back towards the clubhouse. But I think the routing's is really good in terms of where you've placed the holes. In terms of flow of holes, it was pretty good. I mean, yeah. The par 5s came up when I wanted them to. The 3s were roughly in the right spots. I didn't feel like distance-wise, I didn't feel like I was playing the same hole over and over again. Although I think, again, increasing the interest off the tee will help that massively. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I've got. It's a really good course. I think what it's lacking for me is that interest off the tee and a little bit of wow factor. In the environment is spectacular, but the holes don't quite live up to that, and in large part that's because it was pretty much automatic off the tee for me. And in 12 mile an hour winds, I'm okay with -6. I think you've nailed the CC level. I'd have liked to have seen you do it in maybe a slightly different way with the tee shots and still providing but that's a choice. And I think one other judge might say something completely different regarding said choice. But yeah, I really hope that feedback is helpful. I do really like the course. I think you've done a really good job with it. Those are just the things that I would look to work on. But yeah, best of luck in the contest, and yeah, take care.